really total team effort there yesterday. You know, when you're able to have the production we did on both sides of the ball, 645 yards versus 170, and you know, do what we did in the red zone, scoring 5 times, hold them to only 2 field goals. You know, it was just good things are going to happen. Got to take away, protected the football. Had a number of guys who played really, really well, as you can imagine. Obviously, you have that type of production. You know, your old offense has a hand in that. But I will say this: when our O-line plays that way, it doesn't matter what we call what we do. We can do anything. They played at a really high level, and man, they finished. They started it and they finished, and so that was awesome, man. Decker and Graham and Frank and Zeitler, and then obviously Sewell, you know. So I was proud of those guys, man. They really set the tone. And, you know, likewise on the other side of the ball, our D-line, man, really showed up. So shut that run game down. You know, Bates on special teams did a good job, had a number of kicks, extra points to field goal, kickoffs, Leaf, Vaki, O'Connor. We've been using O'Connor on special teams a little bit as well as defense. And kickoff, he's helping us out, man. Field goal block. So there's things he's doing that's like, all right, man. Neiman, and then defensively, Kirby and Jack really showed up for us. And Rodrigo, it's good to get him back. And then Vildor stepped in and did a nice job for us. You know, Cam wasn't, you know, just didn't quite feel right. And so we got him out of there, and Vildor did a great job stepping in and competing. So number of guys, great team win, and it's on to the next one.
You know, we've seen this offense operate at a high level for a long time. The defense now, I mean, they're showing something, another gear maybe, keeping teams out of the end zone, becoming a real weapon for you guys, or an asset. What do you think serves you better as far as you go forward and you're going to be competing against, you know, more elite teams in the postseason, especially the team that can score instant offense, or a team that keeps games close and keeps other teams from getting too far out of it?
I mean, that's hard to say. I would always lean defense first. If you're asking me that question, you got to be able to you got to hold people's offenses in check. You got to hold the run game in check. You got to limit points, and then you play accordingly with your offense. You asking me that question, that's the answer I would give you. I think you better have a damn good defense, and they better, you know, because there again, you go on the road. Who knows where you're at? Defense in a run game travels, no matter where you're at, where you go, home, away, elements, the whole thing, and so I would lean there.
Used that we got to see in the behind-the-scenes locker room talk with the group last night was definitely different than I think the tone you would have used if you guys would have won by 46 in your first year here. Is this a point where every great team in your experience gets to where the coach basically says, if you put the work in, this is what you're capable of? Like the proof is in the pudding?
I mean, I do think that, or again, you know, we're in a unique situation here because of, you know, we're going on year 4. I mean, and I just bring it up again. For the most part, the core of this team, we've been together for a long time now, and then we've continued to add pieces, and they just fall right in line with the rest of those guys. You know, and when I say the core, the guys that we drafted, that we brought in as free agents, the guys that were already here, like Frank and Deck, you know, and so they've been there from the ground up. And so then once you build that foundation and you create your identity, and then, yeah, I think you finally reach a point where it's like, do you understand what you're capable of, guys? And look, there's always going to be things that come up in a game. We talked about it last night. You're going to, you know, you'll get these abs, a batted ball. You know, something kind of fluky happens, or, you know, we didn't fit the right gap on a play here, and you're inevitably going to run into these games that you have a rough one, and you find a way to try to win it. If you don't, man, you improve and you go to the next one, you know. And look, we're not out of the weeds here by any means. You know, we continue to get these things that are hitting us a little bit, but we continue to overcome them. And we're going to get hit with more adversity. I mean, we still got, a lot of ball left. So, we're going to get hit with some stuff, and we got to be able to overcome it. And but we're in a good place, and we have a team that I do feel like, man, they can make the game somewhat however they want it to look.
Anzalone has been in this defense a long time. How do you feel that Jack has improved and is ready to take more of the leadership type role?
Yeah, because he's first of all, he's a guy who understands the game. He is a smart football player, and he studies it. He works at it. He was that way when he walked in, though. He's an instinctive player that really understands ball. But so much of it is, where Alex has this. He knew exactly he knows what AG's thinking. They've been together long enough to where we get in this situation. This is what you want. This is how we're doing it. This is and I think that's where Jack is. I mean, he's been right in his hip pocket. I mean, he's, and he watches that and he learns and he listens and, I mean, we were doing these in spring. Alex wasn't even here yet. Alex came in a couple of weeks later, and we were doing these situational scenarios where we're letting Goff call it and we let Jack call it on defense. So this isn't the first time he's kind of had to take a little bit of a role like that, and he's going to be fine as far as that. He'll step right into that, and he'll embrace it, and I think you'll see him thrive.
How much, if at all, can Iffy help you? Linebacker sort of filling in. You've lost a few guys now, obviously. I don't know if he's not that position, but it is the things he can do. Can you?
Yeah, well, look, because this is going to come up anyway. He had something come up, and he won't be ready for a while. He's not going to be ready for a while.
With Roderick Martin's evaluation windows, I think coming up to it close here soon. Any update on his progress and potential status?
Yeah, he's been doing a good job. I think he's done a solid job out there on practice squad. Giving us a good look and trying to work his craft. So I think we would like to get him on the roster here and at least have him, and then just see where it goes.
Just one clarification on the Melifonwu, because I think if he doesn't come up this week, you have to set him down for the year. Is that?
Yeah, but this is a different injury. So now it's falls under a whole nother deal. It's like a reset.
Still come back in theory at some
Potentially, yeah. Yep.
Malcolm Rodriguez has really stepped back into the defensive rotation this season. Just how much comfort does that help with Alex being down for a while too?
Yeah, a lot. It's good to get Rodrigo back because he gives us a lot of flexibility, and he can play the will. He can play the Sam out in space. He's been playing kind of that big nickel, and so having him back. It does. It relieves a lot of pressure there. So, and I thought he played really well yesterday, man. He's got a nose for the football. He's aggressive, and he has production back there. So, it's big getting him back.
Attrition at defensive end as well. We talked about that earlier in the season. Now you've lost 3 linebackers. Jalen going down last week, Derek. Those are 90%, 100% guys in Derek and Alex. So is the preference to plug another guy in there that can play 80, 90% of the snaps, or do you have to expand maybe the package, defensive packages that you guys will utilize going forward?
Yeah, it's tough to say right now. I mean, we're still, I think we're still trying to. All right, what are we? So much of it is about who we're playing, right? And more so than exactly what are you going to use. Well, tell me who we're playing and what this Indy, man, Richardson's a running quarterback, man. They're using him a lot more in that regard. And so, do you want to go nickel? You want to go base? Do we need 3 linebackers? We got to answer all these things. And so I know this, Jack and Rodrigo are going to play a lot for us. And then it's a matter of, is it by committee if you're using 3 linebackers, are we using a DB? It's just hard to say right now.
You said, there's still some things to clean up, obviously, after every game, and maybe we hit with things down the road. After a game like yesterday's, though, how hard is it for you to find things? I know the coach, and you probably, as much as we think it was perfect, it was not. When you're watching that film back today, is there how much is there to clean up?
Yeah, there's stuff to clean up. And if I told you we had one where if his split is a yard wider, where it should be that it's a touchdown, or if I block the right guy, it's a touchdown as opposed to, whatever, 6-yard gain, those came up, and defensively, we were out of position on some things, but it didn't bite us. We were fortunate, and, you won't have that luxury if you're playing Josh Allen or Mahomes or, though you're going to find it. And so those are things that we got to clean up, So, yeah, there's things to clean up. Even as good as everything was and how productive we were, there's things to clean up. By the way, I'm sorry. It's another reason why Ben Neiman's here, too. Thank God for that guy, because he can play every one of the spots. And smart guys, played a lot of football, and we have no problem plugging and playing him anywhere either. So.
Last 3 years, Justin, as far as your coaching style, as far as you've been the underdog in a lot of those early games, those first couple of years. Now you're going into these games where you guys are the favorites. How do you adjust to coaching now when you come in a situation where people considering the Lions the favorites? So do you adjust your coaching style, or do you approach guys differently, or how do you approach this window right now?
Yeah, I think you go in. What's different is that you always want the belief, and those early years, they need to understand that we have the potential to beat anybody. That we have that ability to beat it, but you got to play a certain way, and it's got to be extremely clean. That's where we were, and once they begin to believe in that and they understand that, and I got it, then it begins to shift. And here we are a little bit. But I think what's really important is that they never lose sight of, man, think about the work that you put in last week getting ready for that game. Like our Thursday out here at practice, we were smoking. I mean, smoking at practice. It was intense. It was violent without having pads on. I mean, guys, we played the way we practiced. And that's important, and you can never lose sight of that. And that's fine, we're not the underdogs, but we have certain standards, the way we approach things, the way that we prepare for games. And as long as we do that, you will continue to be a tough team to beat, and that's important. And we should still be on the hunt, and I feel like we're on the hunt. And, none of that other stuff matters, So we got to go to Indianapolis, the team that's very much in the playoff race there, division race, and they're going to be ready to go, and so are we.
Pretty good load on Zadarius yesterday. It's not easy coming to a new team and verbiage and all that. How did you think he showed up when you went back and looked at his film?
Yeah, I thought he did some things for us. I thought he did some good things for us. It was good to have him out there. I thought. Really, like we talked about last week, man, just be a piece of this puzzle. And he's a guy that's played. He is instinctive, man. He doesn't stay blocked long. He's really good with his hands. Like I say, he can set an edge in the run game, and he's really good at working games with the other, with Mack and with Reeder and those guys. He's got a knack for those things. So I think, first outing with him, man, I thought it was good. I think he fits right in with us.
Dan Campbell currently leads the league with 7 interceptions. Last person that was Darius Slay. When you first got him here, third-round pick, from day one to now, how have you seen him grow as a player? You see him in the interviews with media. He talks with a swagger and a confidence. But when you look at stuff like the behind-the-scenes video, he's humble. He's always putting his teammates first. How have you seen him grow?
Yeah, I would say to your point, he was always real quiet when he first got here. He wouldn't say a word. And now he's really Curb, man. Here's where Curb's grown. Curb has grown at the safety position. He was raw. He had not really played much defensive football. He was a receiver, and that's what you liked was the raw ability of him. But he was an instinctive player. He had these instincts for the football. He kind of figured some things out without being coached very much, playing it. And what you're seeing now is the growth of this player now going on, 3 years. He's growing into the position. He's understanding the safety position. He understands how he can manipulate the quarterback. He can, by the disguises with himself, but also Branch. And that's what you see. You see a damn good athlete who wants it, who's worked at it, is growing into a damn good safety. That's a credit to him.